Hello, everyone. My name is Happy Life, and welcome to Find Happiness channel. Find Happiness channel is a channel where we have videos where we talk about happiness, basically how to find happiness, how to be joyful, how to be peaceful, and how to get off depression. Here with me in the studio is Harry. Harry is an American citizen who has found his path to happiness and is willing to share to the world. So, Harry, welcome.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
Thank you.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the Find Happiness channel where we get to talk about happiness, finding love, finding laughter, and hope. And we've got Harry with us today. Harry, how are you feeling now?
I feel pretty good. Thank you.
Yeah,
we're very happy to be here.
We're excited to have you here.
Thank you, brother.
So one of the things we're actually very particular about here on this channel is just, getting to share our thoughts, our ideas, and perspective about happiness, right? So if I should, but before I ask you that, how long have you been in Nigeria though?
This time I've been here for 2 months.
Oh, wow.
I was here for 9 months and I left in March and then I came back in July.
Right. So what's your experience with Nigerian people? Interesting or weird?
It's hard to put it into, one short answer because Nigeria is so diverse.
Right.
Not just the different tribes, but the different behaviors.
Of course.
But my experience overall has been most agreeable. Like I've learned something about being resilient. I've learned a lot. Before I came to Nigeria, I had the impression that Nigerians were, scammers and just,
of course,
people that were looking to take advantage of you. And a lot of it was predicated by just what Nigerians were telling me. You understand? So when I came over here and first, I stayed in Obanikoro off Ikorudu, and everybody was like, don't stay on the mainland, don't stay on the mainland. Go to Ikoyi, go to VI, go to even Aja or Lekki, but don't go to the mainland. And
right.
I went over there and they showed me so much love, and it just sort of opened my eyes to just a world of possibilities that I didn't think existed in Nigeria.
Right.
The reason I find this place so attractive is because for most of my life, the rest of the world has tried to convince me that there was no beauty in this place. And I see firsthand just the drive and the resilience and the intelligence and the work ethic of Nigerians in general. And it makes me feel like I'm a part of something greater than myself. And I've learned a lot from the people here.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm glad that you can talk about Nigeria in that way, in such a positive light, right? I think that many people get to, around the world, they get to misunderstand us. And I can tell for sure that once you're able to, just associate yourself with the Nigerian people, you get to understand more.
Yes.
and where we stand generally as a people. But one of the things we really love here in Nigeria is our culture, particularly our food. So have you been able to find a particular food that you're already digging into?
My favorite food is probably okazi soup. But also like oha, I like, I'm going to butcher the pronunciations, but I love like efariro, I love afang. The only thing that I can't tolerate is the ogbono. It's just too much work. One shouldn't have to work that hard to eat. So it's like, it's the draw and it's all in my beard, it's on my clothes. It's like, when I eat it, I have to eat it naked in the shower. You understand? So I can tolerate everything. I enjoy everything. In fact, the food in this country is one of the selling points for me.
Right.
I think the food is just the most delicious in all of Africa for sure. I thought Kenya was somehow going to be where I'd relocate and I'd live, but I came to Nigeria the first time in 2018, and it changed the game completely.
Amazing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to make myself available to be your personal tutor on how to eat some of these things.
Okay. People also make fun of me because I chew my swallow.
Oh, really?
Like I've been taught to chew my food. I come to Nigeria and people just you
just swallow it down there.
Okay. I'm open to all pointers and suggestions.
All right, that's fine. That's amazing. So one of the things we're very also particular about here on the Find Happiness channel is basically just being able to hear different perspectives on what happiness really is about, right? So if I'm going to ask you, what exactly would you say is happiness for you? Because I know I've been able to talk to many people about, what happiness generally means to them, and I get to hear different, perspectives and thoughts on what happiness really is. But for Harry, what exactly does happiness mean to you?
I think more than anything is probably being satisfied with myself, not comparing myself to other people. Because if you're comparing yourself developmentally where other people are, it's like you're guaranteed to be disappointed at some point. So for me, I'm always looking at my today as it pertains to my yesterday. How much growth is from yesterday,
right.
you know, and just being able to understand that there are a lot of things that are going to happen that I don't control, you know, that I can't control. And when you come to that realization, you fix the things that you can, you shuffle around the things that you can, and you just accept the things that you can't. You know, I think my greatest disappointment is when I wanted to hold on to that which made me happy. And when I realized that I should be looking for peace, a greater peace. And I think that's what happiness should mean. Like, are you in a state where things can be chaotic around you, yet you find beauty in the experience, you find beauty in yourself? You know, my father died in 2017, and there's no way that I could be happy in you know, with something happened. Like the first time in my life I woke up and I had half of my parents. So I couldn't be happy, but I was at peace with the understanding that before he died, we made a lot of things right that were wrong before. And you know, I was able to forgive him for a lot of things that I thought that he was responsible for in my life. So while I wasn't happy, my peace wasn't interrupted at all. And I think that that's what I strive for now, because like happiness is fickle.
Right.
You understand? Like happiness, if somebody called right now and said a loved one died, would I still be happy? But if I have peace in my heart, then I can endure, I can deal with it appropriately. You know, that's my focus. It's not, and I love the word happiness, because when you say it, it's almost impossible to not feel some sense of happiness.
Of course.
But the other side of happiness is sadness. You know, you can be peaceful even when you're sad. You understand? You can be in a peaceful place even when you're sad. And that's the thing that I think I've developed, that internal reconciliation that I previously didn't have. You know, things will shift throughout life, and you feel somehow about it. You feel sad, but if you have that peace, it's not going to diminish you into depression.
Right.
And I've been there. I've been there before, and it's not a good place to be.
Of course. So we're going to talk about that in a bit, but I think that I love how you mentioned that happiness is fickle, and rather than really just trying to find happiness, we should aim to or strive for peace, because I think peace is also long term.
Yes.
Right. And once you're able to find your own peace and be at peace with yourself, at peace with whatever experiences you're having, it's something that can be able to serve you for the long term, than trying to find different things or substances that you can find or hold, use as an anchor, you know, for happiness. So I love that you're able to highlight that. Now, just before we brought you on, I was speaking with someone, and I think that one of the things that people get to see a lot is that many things might affect their happiness or stop their journey to happiness. Because I believe happiness is a journey. It's not something that you just get today or get tomorrow. It's something that you walk through your entire life process. You know, so what exactly would you say is that experience for you that sort of shaped your own life and helped you to understand that finding peace is should be more of a priority rather than just trying to find happiness in the little things that can be fickle?
I think for me, it was coming back from a failed relationship. You know, when you invest so much of your time, so much of your energy into a situation, you know, and it fails, you find yourself in a state of despondency. You find yourself in a state of despair. And for a long time, I was in that state. You know, I was going through the motions. I was doing everything that I would normally do, but it was just to busy myself. It was just to occupy that space. Right. You know, and when I was able to really transition from that place and understand that, you know, things happen, you know, some things aren't meant to happen and some things are meant to happen, I was able to, you know, accept the situation with my relationship, or the failed relationship. And when I recovered from that, because to be honest, it was probably one of the most like unrecoverable situations I've ever been in. Like, how am I going to bounce back from this? You know, I have a son, I have a daughter. How do I look at them in the face and say, we tried, but we're not compatible? Your mother and I, we're not compatible, you know, and still try to keep that cohesiveness in the family. So, you know, you go through a period where you feel like everything is broken. And if you give yourself time to heal from that, then what emerges is a better version of yourself. But a lot of times we fall too deep into that despair where it becomes us. And, the one thing that I love about being able to come to Nigeria, and this is sort of a segue, is that I'm able to come out here and be exactly who I am. You understand? Like
right.
A lot of times I tried to run from myself throughout my life. I found myself in some really, really abusive situations, people that were supposed to protect me, ultimately hurting me. So I found myself running away from myself, and everywhere I went, I was still with me. And when I realized that you can't run from you, you have to face your demons, you have to face your fears, you have to face the sadnesses in your life. You become a better version of yourself. And people ask me, like, why do you feel so comfortable in a place as chaotic as Nigeria? Well, I'm convinced that there's nothing that any person can do to me on this earth that's worse than what's already been done. And there's a certain freedom in that. There's a certain liberation in it, especially when you grow from it. So we're all guaranteed a death, but many of us aren't guaranteed a life. We don't live a life according to what we deem, appropriate for life. We do what other people say. We stay in this box. We do what people encourage us to believe is proper. And I'm done with that.
Right.
So my happiness is truly predicated by the freedom in meeting people, being exposed to different cultures, feeling different atmosphere in different places. I love the totality of life, being impressed with the colors. You understand it? The new things that my eyes weren't privy to in Chicago or in California. I come to Nigeria and I'm like a kid. You understand? And it resonates with my soul. So, but I found that happiness is really inside of you, because people just like happiness is fickle. What makes somebody happy one day, somebody may love an attribute about you one day, and then the next day they despise you for that very same attribute. So it's like, can you look in the mirror at the end of the day and say, well done? That really should be the measurement, because when we look to people for approval, we will disappoint ourselves time and time and time again.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you very much, Harry. I'm already blown away by the answers you've been able to share with us. So if you're still here with us, this is the Find Happiness channel. And we've got the amazing Harry with us, who's been able to share his experience about finding happiness. And he's particularly mentioned that happiness is fickle. And so we should strive for peace because it's long term, right? So Harry, before we let you go in a moment, what exactly would be your advice to our viewers out there, those who are watching right now, who are going through some sort of experience and might be looking for hope, looking for peace, looking for joy, trying to find happiness entirely? What exactly would be your advice for them?
I think first and foremost is just to allow yourself to be sad. You understand? You can't rush through it. Sometimes we want to rush through our despair. We want to rush through our suffering. And when we rush, we don't allow ourselves to realign ourselves with our paths. Some people use crutches in order to get through things, like they smoke cigarettes, they smoke weed, they smoke crack, they drink alcohol.
Yes.
And at the end of that, when you return to your sobriety, you still have to deal with the problems that you tried to run away from. So it's best to deal with it, cry if it's necessary, you understand, yell if it's necessary, but continue. You understand it? And the time is going to allow you to really become more acquainted with a better version of yourself. Like, we can't run away from sadness. It's all around us, but we can best prepare ourselves to deal with it by understanding that there are certain things that we just can't change, and certain sadnesses that are inevitable, so don't rush through any process. Align yourself with people who are concerned about you. And sometimes it's good just to remove yourself from everybody and become reacquainted with your old self or your new self. Whatever version is better, become reacquainted with yourself.
Great, amazing. So you've heard from Harry, do not rush your own process. All right. So for everyone who's watching, I'm sure they might be having questions about how can I reach Harry? How can I be able to find more information about Harry? So where exactly can they get to find you or connect with you on a more personal note?
Okay. Well, I'm not very, very big on social media.
All right.
But it's funny because I posted a video in this Nigeria and it went viral. Like 1 million people.
Yeah, the one with the million views.
Yes, now. I was like, 1 million. Like I wake up one day, I wake up in a hotel and I'm looking at my phone and it's just like
notifications.
All of these notifications. How? And I look at this video that had
Yeah.
no traction the first couple of days, and all of a sudden my followers went from 700 to 3,000. I'm like,
Wow.
I'm a big boy now. You understand? So,
Yeah.
but my Instagram is Chege Ugo Nyanzi, which sounds ridiculous because Chege comes from Kenya, Ugo is obviously Nigerian, and then Nyanzi is Ugandan.
Right.
You know, it's like 3 meaningful people gave me that name, and I just kind of put it all together. So it's ChegeUgonyanzi. That's my Instagram handle.
All right. Thank you very much, Harry, for taking out time to be here. And more importantly, sharing your experience about happiness or finding happiness with us as well as the audience. We look forward to bringing you again soon. I'm sure that when we reach out, you'll be able to show up.
Yes, sir.
All right. Great. Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. This is the Find Happiness channel. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure to stay tuned for more amazing content that we'll be sharing or coming your way in a bit.